Okay, we are live. I feel them 3 words coming. I'm excited. Yeah. So welcome to the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. I'm telling you right now, it's about to go up. Nope, not down. It's about to go up. So, Goalgetta, what's a goal-getter? I'm glad y'all asked. My logo sums up my message. One finger to the brain, one to the sky. With the right mindset, you can go to the top. I put the red check next to the brain because everything starts with the mind, and it takes blood, sweat, and tears to achieve goals. You're a goal-getter. I'm a goal-getter. Success is the only option. But I know I got some new listeners and viewers, so I'm going to go deeper into it, see? Because I want you to fully understand who you are. So, a goal-getter grinds to greatness every day, aims to be the best version of themselves every day, understands that adversity is a part of the journey to success. So we embrace it. We never give up. Success is the only option. Everything about my guest today says success is the only option. So welcome to the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. Definitely got to start up by shouting out my mentor program, Goalgetta Academy. Very proud of my young kings and young queens with Goalgetta Academy. We focus on mental health, goal setting, leadership development, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, community service. Now, mental exercises. I got to ask y'all, have y'all been doing them? Now, for the new listeners and viewers, you're probably like, mental exercises? What is he talking about? I'm going to tell you. So, as y'all all know, we live in a very cold, dark world, and people are quick to tell you what you can't do. If you look at the word can't, you take T off, it says can. Yes, if you can't think it, you can't achieve it. But my main goal with this exercise is for you to be the first person to speak life into yourself every single day. So when you first wake up, I need 3 positive thoughts. I'll share a few of mine with you. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Be a great husband. Be a great father. Now, from there, you should be going to the restroom, brushing your teeth, washing your face. If not, we got a problem. But while you're in the restroom, look at that person you see in the mirror and say, I am great. I am a winner. Success is the only option. Now, we got to get to my special guest. So, Elizabeth Shin is a native of the Pacific Northwest, currently residing in the Seattle area. She is deeply committed to helping others and has been a healthcare provider for the past 10 years. Currently, she's serving her community as a licensed and registered CT technologist. Her mission is to raise awareness about ancestral child sexual abuse. Elizabeth, say what's up to the people.
Hi everyone.
Right, so we're going to dive right into it. I think that last statement is very powerful, and it just probably definitely raises some eyebrows. So let's talk about your mission and why you chose that mission. Why is that your lane? Why is that your calling?
It's definitely my calling because I'm a survivor. There's a difference between a victim and a survivor. I'm definitely a survivor. I am the face of many. I am the face of a person who was abused by a loved one. The word incest applies. That was immediate family. It was directly in my household. So for the viewers and anyone listening to this, child sex abuse is really something that's taboo. We don't talk about it. It's underreported. But statistically, the statistics show that, 2 or 3 out of every 5 women have been sexually assaulted by the time they're 18. The numbers are hard to keep track of because they're so underrepresented. Same thing with boys. They say at least 3 men by the time they're 18 have been sexually assaulted. When you drop down below the age of 12, it's really hard to keep track of those statistics because it's so underreported. And then when it's reported, how is it reported? Does it go through a following system where they tell their parents or tell their school or tell someone? Does it get reported to the police? So a lot of the information and a lot of statistics we have are just not accurate. But when you add the word incest, it leaves that bitter taste in your mouth, kind of like burnt popcorn. No one wants to say the word incest, and most people don't know what incestual child sex abuse is, which means somebody that shares my blood, either a parent or a sibling, touched me inappropriately in a sexual manner that was against my will, without my permission, and completely inappropriate. So my mission is to raise awareness and educate. A lot of people are under the impression there's only 2 forms of sexual abuse, which is molestation and rape. Those are 2 forms, but there's several forms. So first, I want to educate and have this uncomfortable conversation. You are a father. I had a chance to meet you in person a few weeks ago. I met your beautiful queen, and you guys have a beautiful family. I am not a mother yet. And I just want people to have this dialogue. I want people to be aware of it. I want people to know this word. Yes, it's a hard word to say. It's a very challenging lane to be in. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but when the abuse stops, there's still a lot of trauma, a lot of process. And because it's the family unit, it's so challenging because it's the rest of your life you will deal with these things. So the skills that you have to acquire to get through it, you have to learn that toolkit so you can always go back to that tool belt and pull them out when the time is right. So I've made it
But I
my
want to
mission,
jump
my
in,
life goal to talk
not to
about it.
cut you off real quick. I want to jump in because I want to talk. I want to know while we're on this subject. What happened to give you the courage to say, you know what, I got to speak up and I got to be the one that's going to have these hard conversations. I want to know the exact time when you say, you know what, it's time for me to have the courage and have these conversations.
Honestly, people would say things to me in confidence over the last 4 or 5 years. I've heard different things. Some of them were reported. They went through the school system. Some of them happened in their household, and it ended in divorce and someone getting prosecuted, going to jail and whatnot. So the outcome's very different. You can't control the outcome. But a lot of times when it happens inside the family, people don't
Right.
believe the child. They don't believe the child. They don't ask for details. And it's like a big cover up inside because of pride. And, just like, oh my God, what happened? Like, how could this be? Especially when it's amongst siblings. It's different when an adult is involved with the child. But when it's amongst siblings, it's a little bit more complicated. Because in theory, you are the mother and father of both the victim and the abuser. And so it's
Right.
really, really challenging. So I just had enough. Someone said something to me and I was like, who's speaking up for that kid? Like, what are you guys doing for this child? And they're like, nothing, nothing. We're going to pray about it and, separate them and put them in different rooms and just monitor them. But so both people were still suffering. No one was getting the help. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And they're like,
Right.
why are you taking it so personal? I said, because I am that child. And then I started to see this trend, and I shared in front of a group of people who've known me my entire life. Only one person in that room knew my entire story, only one person. And these people, when they could look at me from kindergarten through college, I grew up in Seattle, relocated to the East Coast, and came back home a few years ago. So they've known me over 25 years. They can see that transition where I became withdrawn, where, don't look at me, don't touch me, don't walk by me, like that withdrawn and just like really down, like just self-hatred, just going down because it broke my family. It really, really broke my family. And so I want to be a voice. But what I realized now that a lot of my friends have children is no one's having these conversations. And then
Right.
sadly, in some families, the abuser has abused for multiple generations. So when that person passes on to when they pass away or something, there's this closure that no one talked about. And now they're celebrating because their abuser's gone. And so I just really wanted to bring awareness to it and help educate and really show children and families that we can stop this. This is something in our control. Like, we can stop
Right.
this. And especially now that sex trafficking is so high with children, like runaways
Right.
and other victims and stuff, if we don't have the terminology, how can we help them? And also to
Right.
bring the awareness of mental health. A lot of children who've successfully committed suicide, it's been shown statistically that a lot of them have been victims of sexual or physical abuse. And they were unsuccessful in getting the abuse to end. So they ended up taking their lives. And anyone who works with children or has their own children, that's just heartbreaking in so many ways. So I really want to be a voice for innocence, and I really want to create awareness, and I want to have that uncomfortable conversation. I want to have that uncomfortable conversation.
And I got to
want
jump in and tell the story. So I like that at the conference, right? So for those, I got to tell y'all how this worked. This is how God worked, right? So I was in Atlanta for the Next Level Speakers Conference. When I actually ran into Elizabeth, I didn't know she was there for it too. We were actually at the hotel, and then somehow we just started talking. Then from there, I know like a half an hour went by. You were just so passionate, and then my wife was like, "Wow, we really had us thinking." And I like the fact that you just had the courage, and you were definitely educating. I was like, "Wow, that's something that I got to have on a podcast." And then I think the next day you stood up and you voiced your mission. So I was like, yeah, she's courageous. So I love it. You got that it factor. So let's talk about how purpose can, like on the bottom of the flyer, if you noted the podcast flyer, I said goals brings purpose and purpose change lives. I think that I can tell that you were so passionate about this subject that it became your purpose. And you just talking about it, I can see it just lights you up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that you talk to somebody and educate, I think that's, to me, it seems like it'd be therapeutic for you because you're
Mm-hmm.
helping somebody. Definitely, since you personally been there, it's different when somebody saying reporting something that they read about, but this is
Mm-hmm.
something you experienced, so that changes everything. So I wanted to know, are you planning on writing a book?
I am. So for years, I've been working on a memoir. This was one of the most challenging things I've ever in my life endured. And I write. I use spoken word. I've done all kinds of things with words. Words have significant meaning and power. And every time I've shared my words, people are like, you should definitely publish it. But again, this is a very private matter. This is incest. It
Right,
took place in my home with my siblings and my parents. This is not just my life, but no one asked for my
right,
permission to do what they did to me. But when you tell this story, you're involving other people. And so I wanted
right.
to make sure I told it in a manner that truly focused on myself. And I had my first piece just published recently on a website called Heard and Healed. I actually wrote my story out for them. And I'm working on a
Okay,
memoir, and I'm also working on some workbooks just for victims as they're transitioning to becoming survivors. It's where you are in the healing process and what resources and tools you have. But mindset is the greatest thing. Faith is the only reason I'm sitting in front of you. Faith is the only
right.
reason I'm sitting here. And, I want to be that beacon of light. I want to be that lighthouse on shore when people are upon the waters and they're lost and weary and they see that flicker of light saying, there is hope. There is something on the other end of this, but you will face this reality the entire duration of your life for every generation to come. If you become a mother or a father, your kids might hear about this. But how do we keep that family unit intact, recover, heal, and restore, and really help prevent this in the future? So as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to be talking about this.
I
There'll
love it. I
definitely
love
be
it.
more than one book coming. More than one book. I can promise you
Right.
that now.
So let me ask you this, because right now you don't got kids. Does Are you a person that has somebody that's traumatic experience as far as a rape victim from a sibling actually, and because of that they never wanted to have kids?
So no, I wasn't raped. Thankfully, I was not raped.
Okay.
A
Okay.
brief part of my story where it's very personal for me um, is there was physical and psychological abuse. So it started with physical abuse first, and it started with psychological controlling, separating me from my parents. My sibling was an adult at the time I was a minor. There's a huge difference in us in age. There's a 12-year age difference. And
Okay.
this was like my babysitter, this is my superhero. This is like everything, the coolest person in the world. And it started with separating me from my parents and really controlling what I did and always monitoring what I did. And it came to punishment. Then it came to physical punishment. I was told that if I told my parents about the physical punishment, he would kill my parents in front of me and make me watch. And then the
Wow.
sexual event took place on two separate occasions. One was really significant. The other one was, it was interrupted. It was just mild groping interrupted. But there was two different incidents. And the second one, God is everything to me. I made it downstairs and I went to the bathroom and I prayed to God to make me pee. And I prayed to God to forgive me if I killed my parents that night. I cried on the toilet asking God to forgive me if my next set of actions was going to cost my parents their lives. And I was like, just forgive me. And so I went and I told my father what had happened. And the chain of events had stopped, but I was still going through all of this. So the psychological component of how a child is supposed to trust, if you leave your children, you're a father, if you leave people with your kids, you trust those people around your children. Like children just
Right.
don't go to strangers, they trust them. So it's our responsibility to protect our children. So I still want to be a mother. I have some health things. I have lupus. I'm an autoimmune warrior. And for a little while, I was told I couldn't have children because of my medications. My health is healthy enough. So God willing, I find a husband and, I'm able to have children. And so I do want to have children. But,
Okay.
there's a stigma about when you're abused that are you going to become an abuser? Is everyone going to assume that you're going to abuse people? Because there's so much stigma around it because of poor information. So I really want to be that beacon of information and say, no, this is all false. You can have a healthy relationship with your child. You can be around other children safely and stuff. And so I really want to bring this taboo subject matter into houses, into families, into churches, into schools, and have an educational system so we can rebuild and empower our babies and empower our families so we can bring them back together and protect one another.
Hmm. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I wanna talk about the conference. What led you to joining Next Level Speakers Academy? I want to talk about the whole experience. So, tell us from your perspective. I think it was definitely a life changing event. It was way
Absolutely.
deeper. It was way deeper than a speakers conference. You know, it was a spiritual component was heavy there. You know, I seen a lot of breakthroughs. I seen it was my guy. Shout out to my guy Wydrate. You know, the courage he has to have stage 4 cancer and still put off his procedure to come down to be in the building. And his testimony was, man. So from your perspective, I want to know what made you even join the academy, and let's talk about this whole process.
So, talking about a book. All right. You write a book. Sure, it's therapy. What do you want to do with that book? You want to get that book out there. Like, I'm not just writing this to get through my trauma I've dealt with. Now it's about educating and sharing my story. So when you write that book, you need to talk about that book. So I wanted to learn. I'm comfortable talking in front of people, as you kind of figured out.
Yeah,
I
we can
wanted
tell.
to learn.
And y'all can tell she's comfortable talking. I know firsthand she's comfortable talking.
I wanted to learn the proper process in becoming a motivational speaker. However, my subject matter is not rainbows and sunshine. It's not unicorns. It's not drug and alcohol. It's a very specific target audience. And there has to be some education on the legality of it, the insurance and liability on it, and how do you talk about this in a platform. So I needed resources and I didn't have any. I just recently joined Instagram in January. Instagram has changed my life. I was way behind in technology. Forgive me. And
Right.
I came across Jeremy Anderson. I knew about Nehemiah Davis and that whole circle. And so I ended up following Jeremy. And he's a huge motivational speaker, but he's a man of God and he's a family man. He's a man of
Right.
God. And when he talks about why he left corporate America, a little girl with freckle face, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. And so I was like, I need to learn from the best. So I'm going to take it and invest in myself, learn the process and the policies, get in with the network, and see how I can have this uncomfortable conversation. So I joined May 23rd. Conference popped up. I don't know if you were on the live. I wasn't even supposed to be at the conference. Let's talk about God and the power of God. For anyone who's not a Christian, this isn't to convert you, but I want to talk about the power of my God. I'm a Christian. I'm proud to be a Christian. I work in
Talk to him.
healthcare. I was supposed to be at work. Those are the days I do not have off. I was supposed to be taking care of patients. With COVID right now, we have no staff. If I don't come to work, people like Wydrate don't get their test results and their cancer spreads throughout their body. I take my job very seriously and I'm very blessed to be able to help out people. So they prayed for me to come. They're like, we need her there. We need her to share this story and really get this message out. So I went to my boss and I said, I have a once in a lifetime opportunity to be a part of this, not as a main presenter, but to be a part of this network and present my story to other people. I need these days off. I got the days off. I happened to be on a live. I jumped on while I was at work because I saw Jeremy pop up. I had my ticket. I had my ticket to the general admission. I had my plane ride and I had my hotel. My face is on live and they're talking about giving away seats to VIP. And Passion, she is also a Next Level Speaker Academy. She's been praying and praying. Her name pops up on the screen. I'm like, oh my God, Passion just won. There's a sponsorship. This guy named Odell follows Jeremy. There's a sponsorship. Wow, this is so awesome. Like, yay, yay. Trauma overhead, ambulance, 5-minute ETA. All right, clean up the room. Let's get this going. I'm like, I'm trying to get in VIP. I just need to be in that room. I don't care where I sit. I just need to be in that room. Next thing you know, my face is on that screen. And I'm like, oh my God, like I just got selected. And Jeremy was like, you not only got selected, you'll be sitting in VIP. And I just started crying at work. So I flipped my camera and was like, I can't even stay on. Like I have a trauma patient coming in. Like I'm not supposed to be on this camera right now. So God bless Passion and I, and we manifested being in that room. So I got blessed with that opportunity to sit in VIP. And then when Donnie Wiggins was asking what our mission was and why our purpose was speaking, I rose my hand and she picked me. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a big room and I'm really little, like I'm really short. So I just jumped up on a chair, just kind of jumped on
I loved
a chair.
it. And she got to going. And I ain't gonna lie, when you jumped on the chair first, you looked a little timid. I was like, okay, but then that warrior came out and she got to going, she got to speaking. I'm like, okay, I love it. I see it. You know, I love that. I love that.
The movement was so powerful. So talking about Wydrate and, you know, Shannon Austin and everything, you know, going through prostate cancer right now and stuff and already coming through lung cancer. Miss Passion is a sickle cell anemic person. She's a warrior. That woman is fighting. So you have Hydrate, myself, and Passion, making sure we all took our medications, making sure we have water, making sure we have food. I was in a flare. So I have lupus. I'm still in a flare. I'm on my third round of antibiotics. I've been in a flare since I met you and your wife. And it means my body's attacking itself. My disease is really active. And I still went, and I came back really sick. Body got worse. My doctor's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, this is going to change lives. God is going to protect me. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. And the Holy Spirit saved people. People gave their life to God that day. People were prayed over. Generational curses were broken. People shared their testimony. So yes, this is about motivational speaking, but the movement of God really came through. And there was a lot of non-believers in there too, but just the power of fellowship. You have Black men crying, holding one another in a room where they've never met one another, holding
And
and
hold on,
embracing
pause right
each
there.
other.
We got to pause right there because that's not normal right there. Because that's Black men. We don't
I
cry.
have photos of it. I have video of
Right.
it. It happened right next to me. And I mean a full-on embrace like that was your son or your
Right.
brother. Full-on
It was
embrace.
deep.
Complete strangers 20 seconds ago. Then you have Miss
Right.
Passion walking around, and she's like Mama Bear. She is wrapped, hugging, arm in arm, consoling people, bawling their eyes out. So when it comes to the spirit of suicide, when it comes to the spirit of divorce, when it comes to child abuse, my little self ended up speaking on all three of those subjects. And God is good. And wherever this journey takes me, my name is Elizabeth Shin. I am the face behind _ I am Sun Shin. My full name is Elizabeth Sun Shin. Elizabeth means oath of God, and Sun Shin means obedience. So I'm half Korean. So I'm living to my name's purpose, and I'm going to honor that. But whatever God has in store for me, I'm going to be that beacon of hope, because there's so much innocence that needs to be protected. And the best way to do that is to raise your hand and say, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. It's hard. It's a lifelong journey, but there's other people here who can help you. And we have the power to end this. We have the power to minimize the numbers. And that's what I'm going to do.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And you know, we got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So sometimes it's good just to fall back and just listen. And I wanted y'all to really hear Elizabeth, because her passion to educate, and I could see the calling, the anointing on her. You know, meeting you that day was life changing for me. This is a father, just to have me think about some things. And then I love to see somebody that really are genuine about what their mission is. Like, you knew exactly who you are. And then I was like, okay, she had the courage to actually even talk about it. And then it seemed like she's really locked in. And I seen like when you stood up, you got on the chair, and I was like, okay, yeah, she's really locked in. So I was like, yeah. So I'm glad to have you on the podcast. I'm definitely going to continue to try to help put a light on your mission, because I think it's very, very important, you know. And the next question I really got for you is, so what are the principles that you live by?
My principles personally is faith and gratitude. Faith and gratitude. So as long as you're breathing, you have the ability to change. Every day that I wake up breathing, I thank God. I thank God, because there's so many reasons why I shouldn't be in front of you. And now fighting an autoimmune disease where my body attacks itself, I'm so grateful. Every day I'm so grateful. So my personal thing is gratitude in my faith, and just really being a positive influence. So I have a tattoo on my arm that says Graceful Warrior. In order to be a warrior, you have to go through battles. Life is a battle. There's many battles.
That's
and
right.
You know, it's like a war, but we're constantly in battle. I have to be graceful, not because I'm a woman, but if I don't conduct myself with grace, my mission is such a taboo, sensitive topic, people will just tune it out. You know, I like to use the analogy of burnt popcorn. Everyone knows what it smells like. It lingers. If you've accidentally tasted it, it lingers on your tongue. You remember that. You don't want it to happen again. So in my concept, I don't want this to happen again. And so if I don't stand tall with my head held high and be grateful that I endured what I went through so I can save others, if one life can be saved, every pain that I've ever experienced in my life is okay, because God allowed me to go through that so I can be a testimony to others and say, you know what? The devil is a liar. A lot of things happen. Children are innocent. I will keep saying that. Children are innocent. No one asked my permission to touch me. Who touched me should have never touched me. We were taught to protect each other. We were brought up to protect each other. And so my whole purpose is to walk with gratitude and to have my head high and just really look for my faith. So that's my whole point. Just be in gratitude, humble,
Ooh,
grateful, and graceful.
And I'm telling you, stay connected with Elizabeth. She's a person that's really serious about who she's. This is what I love about you. I feel that you are who you say you are, and I think you just have a positive light around you. So I think
Thank
anybody
you
that
so
come in
much.
connection to you, I think you're going to automatically just uplift them. So I definitely I'll encourage you to continue to be you as you get out here into the world and start going on your mission. There's going to be people that's going to try to discourage you because it's a conversation that people don't want to have. But stay loyal to your vision, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's way bigger than you. You're going to touch so many lives. You're already touching lives. And I can see it. I can see it. You're going to be huge, you know, and it's a conversation
receive
you
all
can
of
have.
that. I receive all of that. And
You better receive it. You
just to
better
give a
receive it.
background to your viewers and your listeners, you know, not to put you or your queen on blast, but you were such a humble husband. And that conversation we had in that deli, your ears were so open, and that yearning to be a good father and that yearning to be a good husband and leader of your castle was so apparent. Your vulnerability to a complete stranger who's talking to about daughters and a son, just to see your whole body change and was like, how can I protect mine? Your ears and your heart opened instantly and was like, what don't I know? How can I protect mine? And it was so welcoming and warm. And your queen is beautiful in so many ways. And that conversation was so empowering. And, you know, I'm new to this game. I just threw my hat in this arena, you know. I know I'm
Right.
going to touch people. And I'm so grateful that you brought me onto your podcast. You immediately wanted to bring me on. But I am so grateful that you and your wife took that time just to have a conversation with me. And I was so impressed by you as a father. I was so impressed by you as a husband and by you and your queen as a team, because a queen on a chessboard protects the king at all costs. And
That's
to
right.
see the king really protect that castle and say, you are my queen, the mother of my children, I will do anything I can to lead you, guide you, and protect all of you, was so beautiful to see that teamwork between you two, because I was a complete stranger. You didn't know me from a pan of paint.
Right.
Complete. And I'm coming at you full force with a big bow and arrow with a big topic. And you were
Right.
so
And the
open
reason
to it.
and I felt that God was telling me, you know, you need to sit here and listen, you know. And with me, some people just reach a point they just feel like they know everything. Me, I'm
Mhm.
always a sponge, you know. But God was telling me, you know, you need to listen to this woman. She needs to really get this off. And the more I heard you speak, and then me being a father and a husband, I said, you know, which something you said as being the king of my castle. You know, I had to make sure at all times that it's something that's going to really affect my household. It's a reason. I just believe that there's a reason that I ran into you. So I had to
Right.
listen. So I definitely appreciate that. My wife, she definitely appreciated the conversation. And yes, I do. I'm gonna talk to y'all, world. I am a very, very lucky man. Yes, my wife is beautiful inside out. I thank the Lord every single day. I'm telling you. So
It was
one
such
thing I
a
want to
privilege to meet both of you.
yeah, it was great. And I'm looking forward to your future. We're definitely gonna stay connected.
Thank you.
Get the people your social media information, and we kind of led to it, but you mentioned a little bit. But I wanted to because with my wife, you know, she has MS. You know,
Hmm.
so um,
She's a
you
warrior
just talk.
too.
Yeah, she's a warrior in the daily struggle. So I'm glad you were able to be transparent about lupus and just a daily struggle. But you're not going to let nothing stop you from your mission.
Nope.
So I always like to talk about the process because it's one
Hmm.
thing to have a goal, but I believe when you write things down, it becomes real. And then from there, the disconnection from people that achieve their goals and people that don't is tests. I believe that
Hmm.
every test leads to a testimony. But
Absolutely.
some people let that test break them down, not knowing if they keep fighting through, that test will lead to a testimony. So let's talk
Hmm.
about the process. I want to hear about where they can understand that when you commit to a goal, it's going to be a process. And just your process, what you have in lupus, is still being active. And you went out of state, you know.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
So lupus entered my life in 2012. I didn't get my official diagnosis till last year.
Oh
2012, I
wow.
thought I had a death sentence. It cost
Mm,
me, it's significantly contributed to me being divorced. My ex couldn't deal with a disease that's non-curable.
mm,
Um, and so I was married for a really long time, the whole other conversation. So I've sacrificed and lost a lot in ways that I can't control. So being a child of ancestral child sex abuse, out of my control. having an autoimmune disease out of my control. So a lot of
Right.
people can fall into this, oh, I have no control. No, no, no. I have every control in my life. I need to educate myself on what I can and cannot do. I know what medications I need to take. I'm learning what my triggers are. I have open dialogue with my physicians and I keep notes. But I have always, my entire life, I pray about it. I write it down. I speak about it. I write it down. I give a timeline. And I've been blessed. So my family had its issues, but I have friends that are like my family and they are
Love it.
my support system. I prayed for God-fearing women to enter my life, and that came a reality. And so I tell them my goals so they can hold me accountable and help me achieve them. And I have a prayer warrior circle. So when I need help with anything, prayer. When I call you at 3 o'clock in the morning crying, I want you to pray with me because it says when two or more are gathered, the presence of the Lord is there. The devil is a
Right.
liar. The devil is a liar. So then you write down these things and you go back to them. I don't care how many times it takes you. As long as you're breathing, you have the opportunity to do it. And so I've had to adjust my lifestyle because of lupus. I have to accept that my body, I'm an invisible warrior. I'm a graceful warrior because you look at me, you don't know I'm sick. You don't know I was
Right.
sexually abused. You don't know that I've struggled and battled with different things. You have no idea. So it's my responsibility to act with grace, to put God first above everything else, and to be humble enough to say, I can't expect you to know if my mouth is closed, but I want to be an example. So write it out, pray about it, talk about it, have accountability partners, and give yourself deadlines. In addition to when you accomplish those things, like my book is right here in front of me. I can show you the first day I joined Instagram. I can show you all my next level stuff, all right here, LLCs, everything.
Love it. Love it.
And, I'm all about branding myself. The name I am Shin, it's not a common name for a business or a motivational speaker. But like you said earlier, and thank you so much, I am me in its simplest form. This is me. And if I want to share my story and my testimony to help you get through your test and help you give you those cliff notes for you to be prepared so you have a testimony of survival and not being a victim, hey, the only way I can do that is to be my authentic self. My name has purpose, my name has meaning, and I'm always going to be obedient to my calling in life. And my calling in life is to be that light for other people and to help them. So if one life is saved, whether it's a man, woman, or a child, it doesn't matter to me. If I can instill that power into somebody else to speak up and educate the public and say, if a person comes to you, say thank you, because now you've empowered them and you might have just saved a life. That's my only mission. And so each test and testimony, no matter how many rooms I have to enter, as long as there's children, I'm still going to be talking. And as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to find a way to work within my means and allow my body to do it. So if I have a voice, like I can't type on the keyboard anymore. I have morning stiffness really bad in my hands. It physically hurts bad to hold objects. I have voice dictation. I can use that now. There's a lot of ways I can do that, but it's about that accountability and mindset. As you always say, mindset matters. Mindset.
Right. Mindset is everything. And I love the fact that something you did, you talked about basically, because I want to shout out another person we had on today, Javon, who's awesome as well.
I love
Basically,
her.
he said,
amazing.
Yes, it's no excuse. What I say, you see in the background, success is the only option. No excuse today. So for every obstacle, it's about when you decide that you're a winner, or that you're a goal getter, which you are. It's adapt, conquer. It's always going to be an obstacle. Okay,
Absolutely.
What's the issue? Okay, adapt, conquer. Adapt, conquer. That's the mindset when you say you're going to win in life. So I love the fact that you found, okay, so my fingers hurt when I type. Okay, now I can do voice. It's always going to be an obstacle, but if you make the decision that you're going to win, adapt, conquer, that's the mindset. So I definitely appreciate you coming on the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. I got to make sure that people can stay connected with you. So once again, tell the people your Instagram.
My Instagram is _IAMSUNSHIN. So if you think of _ I am sunshine minus the E, you'll find me.
Damn, love it, love it, love it. So I appreciate y'all tuning into the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. Make sure you share this video. The audio will be available next week on Apple and Spotify and other major platforms. One thing I encourage you to do, something she said, and I say it often as well, if you're breathing, that means you still have the opportunity to live your best life. The question is, are you going to take advantage of the opportunity? They say, how are you so excited every single day? Well, because I'm conscious of the fact that 151,000 people die every day. That's 151,000 dreams cut short. So I understand that every day I wake up, it's a gift. So I choose to open up my gift with passion. Simple as that, you know? So, and I understand my purpose. The ultimate high is walking to your purpose. At this point, I'm running in my purpose. I'm all about changing lives. So I definitely want you to find what makes your heart smile and do more of that every single day. And it's okay that if you have to change your surroundings, because I'm telling you right now, when you choose you and choose happiness, you have to cut a lot of things and people off. But it's okay, because at some point you got to choose your happiness. Because once again, life is short and life is what you make it. But you got to make a decision of what type of life you want to live. So I appreciate you tuning into the Goalgetta podcast with Jay Black. I love and believe in you. And always remember, always remember, always remember, only person that can stop you is you.